Yeah, so putting an Eldrazi into play on turn 2 is like not particularly fair, and turns out you can do it in Pauper. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU here for a Pauper video. And today we're going to be trying to put Ulamog's Crusher into play on turn 2 and annihilating 2 of our opponent's lands or other permanents on turn 3. Perfectly reasonable and fair thing to be doing. Let's not fast forward, let's go back in time maybe 10 years to the point where Ulamog's Crusher was new-ish and really starting to impact Pauper. This used to be a thing that people would ramp into, and like cheating it into play in other ways, such as reanimating it, has always been attractive. For a very long time, this was a true Pauper staple. And I feel like the format has kind of shifted away from cards like Ulamog's Crusher over time. The ramp decks have gotten other targets, things that can let you cascade, for example, that just get their value a little bit sooner. And plenty of other engines have come out that are just kind of better to be doing than ramping into cards like this or trying to cheat this into play. The absurd number of draw 2s that are currently in Pauper, like Deadly Dispute, are often just incredibly efficient and give you lots of options without locking you into something like this. David has put together a fun Jund Reanimator deck for me that I'm really looking forward to playing. We are going to have a handful of ways to put creatures into our own graveyard, usually with red looting effects. And once we do that, we're going to try to rip them out of the graveyard with Exhume. But the thing is that, like, Exhume is kind of the best way to get things out of the graveyard in Pauper, and the Plan B ones tend to cost like 4 mana rather than 2 mana. So instead of just fully being all in on the reanimation aspect, we are also going to take advantage of some delve creatures so that as we are fueling the graveyard in other ways, it's not just wasted if we don't draw Exhume. Now, one of the neat things here is that we also have cards of the dragon cycle, that is Dragon Breath, Dragon Scales and Claws, and Dragon Fangs, that can give our creature Trample, Haste, or Vigilance. And these all kind of come back when a large creature enters play. So when we do finally get something like an Ulamog's Crusher, you don't have to wait a turn cycle for it to attack, it's just coming in now. And the fire breathing that Dragon Breath gives can also be a way to kind of put your damage over the line. I've kind of felt like Reanimator decks in Pauper were kind of close, but never quite there, because Exhume is just so good by the format standards, and nothing comes close to backing it up. There's like a 4 mana one, I think it's like Late for Dinner or something like that, but that would require being in white as well. So generally speaking, I like what's going on here, and other than just like Faithless Looting or red discard banning things, we also just do have some cycling creatures that can go and do the thing. Most of the stuff in the sideboard here should be pretty familiar if you watch some Pauper. We have some more thematic dragon-themed cards, which I like. Tranquility destroys all enchantments. And if you haven't seen Feed the Clan before, if you have a big creature, 10 life for 2 mana is a pretty big swing. So with that being said, let's go ahead and hop into the league here. Note that my sponsorship with Cool Stuff Inc. ends today, so if you want to use promo code ThrabenU to save a little bit on your next order, this is probably your last opportunity to do so, and I will be looking to secure other sponsorships in the future, as it's a pretty big financial loss for me to lose this sponsorship. Just in case you're wondering, so I don't have to field the question in the comments a billion times, no hard feelings there. They had hard budgetary cuts that they had to make as of the first of the year, and were gracious enough to sponsor me through February. So like, I am still on good terms with them, but Magic Finance world, it's tough out there. So, with that being said, let's battle. Okay, I have no mana sources in this hand, so this is no good. We've got Exhume, which is our best card, but nothing to do with it. This hand is pretty terrible. I can cycle a couple of Greater Sandwurms. It's probably better for me to go to 5 looking for Exhume. And, you know, I'm just really good at Magic. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, and honestly, they're just the best at what they do. If you need to keep your deck lists online, this is the way to do it. They have all sorts of different viewing options. You can condense that text if you like things to be tight. You can make them visual grids. You can put them in stacks. You've got all sorts of different ways to kind of view and visualize your deck lists. And they also have some really cool functionality, like allowing you to see playtest hands and even fully playtest your decks. So check them out. Okay, let's see. I am on the draw. I only have one land. I'm going to go ahead and mulligan this one. This is not great. I have mana. I have no way to get something out of the graveyard. I have 2 things that I can cycle. Duress may or may not be good. I have no experience watching this deck play out, but I think Exhume is such a good card that I just mulligan looking for it. Yeah. Holy fuck. Yes. Thrill of Possibility goes, Ash Barrens go. The first actual game that I play with this, I'm just going to produce an Ulamog's Crusher on turn 2 if my opponent doesn't have discard or a counterspell. Guess what my opponent is not going to have? I could even end up duressing. Crusher goes away. I think a duress goes away. I don't know what removal this deck is going to be playing. Like, I don't know if I should sandbag this for a turn. But my guess is that I just jam. And this is where, like, not having strong format knowledge is a weakness, right? Upkeep? No, just error. Yeah, synthesizer's fine. There's the planes off it. Wellspring's fine. My opponent can get some value out of my Ulamog's Crusher attack. I guess let's see what my opponent does during this attack. Kind of about what I thought. It's a big chunk of damage. I think I am just immediately looting. I think I'll discard you and you. Play a land, duress my opponent, see if there's anything that matters over there. What the hell is this? Discard any number of cards at random. Creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn for each card discarded this way. That's neat. Is that the take? That just might be the take. Like, I am taking out 2 to 3 of my opponent's permanents every turn. Maybe the only way I die is that if they randomly kill me with this after playing a few creatures. My opponent gets good synthesizer value here. But this game is not about value. This game is about beating an 8-power creature. Yeah, I guess Rites of Initiation defensively on a block could be awkward, right? Like, that's a way that I could lose my creature. A new duress. I'm gonna go ahead and cycle this, and then probably end up playing a post-combat duress. Yeah. The Wellspring is a fun value with the Crusher around. Alright. Opponent just kind of pads their life total here. I'll take something new out of their hand. Probably the mana-efficient synthesizer here. I might end up needing something else. My opponent is making permanents at a much faster rate than the average deck. So my Crusher just isn't keeping up with every 1 or 2 drop card producing an extra permanent. So my life total could go down faster than my opponent's life total, despite the fact that I am taking out 2 or 3 permanents per turn cycle. That is almost a good card. Send them. Alright, Wellspring and a Clue down. 3 permanents down this turn cycle. I think I'm going to flashback a Faithless Looting rather than cycle this. I would like to flashback Faithless Looting, find an untapped green land. Negative. What do I have for green-black dual lands? I have an ETB tapped thing. 3 Exhumes that I could be looking for. This, I think, always gets discarded. Then I think I'm going to get rid of Ransack the Lab. I think I'm just going to accept slow route towards Hooting Mandrills. It's not like the rate at which I would like to be playing this game, but it might just be what's happening. The trample stuff's legitimately good, though. My opponent's doing a good job of fighting off an 8/8 Annihilator, too, though. I don't think we will expect this to go as well for future opponents. That's a lot of blockers. Yeah. Now, like, this thing is scary if my opponent happens to draw one. Gurmag Angler. I guess I don't need to show my opponent anything, right? Like, I'll just go ahead and attack and get rid of 3 more of their permanents. That's fine. So we will Swamp Cycle, get this, play this, play Angler. I've got the extra mana, so I will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, this is Vigilant. And now I have a defensive creature as well. Synthesizer is fine. Lightning Bolt is fine. Skyfisher is okay. Just bouncing and replaying a land, sure. And bolt my face. I respect it. I'll take some damage. I am afraid of losing this game. I'm not gonna lie to you. This creature is vigilant, so I will crash in with both. All right, Limbos and Synthesizer. All right, my opponent's not letting me hit with either. I'm dead to a Lightning Bolt. And I can't really do anything about that. Is the trample creature better, or is the 5/5 better? Maybe marginally the trample creature, but it's close. Rid of duress. You don't have reach or anything. Yeah, I think there's a lot of worlds where my opponent is able to chump block through the next turn and like attack for 4, kill me. Gallop Blast, I'm dead now. Double Gallop Blast, I'm dead without the combat step being involved. So I lost this game after producing a turn 2 Ulamog's Crusher and attacking with it every turn. I mean, this is part of the reason why this card doesn't see as much play as it used to, right? How much damage is this? This is 2 damage? Kills a lot of stuff. I could do some amount of life gain. I don't know that I'm going to do that. I've already got a main deck Discerning Taste. These duresses don't seem particularly good. Like, my opponent is just drawing so many cards that I think stripping cards from their hand doesn't really accomplish anything. I might, like, play a Feed the Clan to round out the deck. This hand does not do anything. This hand also really doesn't do anything. Again, I think Exhume is so good that I kind of mulligan towards it aggressively. Let's assume that this works out. So, like, I need these 4 cards. I think I'm putting back the dragon cards. And we'll see where this goes. This is a turn slower than my previous hand, even if I draw something good here that I can bin. I will probably end of turn Thrill of Possibility and reluctantly reanimate a Gurmag Angler. Or at least attempt to. I don't even have the black mana yet. But I don't think I get to wait for a better reanimation target here. Sure. Having 8 Thraben Inspectors is pretty cool. Got it. And I can just do this now. Discard a Gurmag. I did not draw black mana. F. And I missed again. Let's cycle in case I hit an ETB tapped land. I don't. Alright. This is now officially bad territory for me. I think I'm just going to get run over by creatures. Like, in theory, I can reanimate this and it can't be blocked and it's a 3-turn clock. But I'm already taking 4 per turn. And that one super anthem spell might just kill me out of nowhere. Alright, so let's do this. Discard a Sandwurm, draw a card. Okay, drawing Breath Weapon is really good. I guess in theory, I could end up needing green to hardcast one of these suckers, but I find it pretty unlikely. Synthesizer, got it. I'm hoping to draw a land, cast Exhume, and then Breath Weapon this board away. Like, that is my conceptual plan. Bolt my face. Don't love it. I'm at 8. I am just going to go ahead and cast this now. 6 cards in graveyard. So I could Gurmag Angler, but then my Exhumes are bad. So I don't think I am about that life. I think the unblockable Greater Sandwurm is just quite strong. We'll see if that's stronger than my opponent's card advantage engine, though. Like, Synthesizer is good. Like, format defining good. I'm at 8 already. My opponent has reproduced 5 power. I guess I can basic land cycle this, get a swamp, play this, 2 mana, Exhume a Greater Sandwurm. My opponent gets back some idiot. Just so very close to dead. At this point, I think I just Gurmag Angler rather than Exhume. And I'm just on a 2-turn clock in the air. I don't really know how I beat that. Breath Weapon doesn't kill Core Skyfisher. I guess I could, like, draw my life gain card, gain 10 life. But my opponent had incidentally gained some life, so it's not like giving this haste would have been enough to get over the line. Yeah, my opponent very easily goes wide of what I'm doing. Matchup feels very tough. Sure. Yeah, I'm at 4. Yeah, like, I can Exhume some creatures, but my opponent just has me in the air. GG's. Okay. I can cycle creatures into graveyard. I can't get these into graveyard. I think this is just a mulligan. And has an Exhume. Yeah, this is a turn 2 reanimated Troll of Khazad-dum. This is fine. So with my sequencing, it's turn 1 mountain and swamp cycle to put the creature in the graveyard and Exhume it. I think I'm going to just get rid of Duress. So mountain pass. Forest pass. I don't really know what that means here, but it doesn't really change my line, right? Like, here is a roughly 3-turn clock that I am presenting you with. Fuck! This is bullshit. This is bullshit. I want my money back. Pauper's broken. I hate everything. This is such a good screenshot moment for my opponent, though. I'm not even mad. Yeah, this is so critical because my opponent just gets the first attack here, and this has, like, super menace, and I'm not very good at producing bodies. Okay, yeah, my opponent is doing the same sort of thing I am, I guess. With Grizzly Salvage. Alright. The future Exhumes suck. Okay. I'm going to play this as a land. I'm going to cast Discerning Taste. I will put a Gurmag Angler into my hand. I'll gain a bunch of life. I can play a Gurmag Angler next turn. I'm not dead, but I think my opponent is favored. I don't know, maybe I can give my Gurmag Angler haste with Dragon Breath and get myself out of this. Okay, got it. Dread Return. So now I have to, like, start fearing Lotlith Troll? 5 cards in graveyard, that's 1 short of where I need to be? What if I Faithless Looting into an untapped red land? Is that my line? Faithless Looting, untapped red land, Gurmag Angler, plus Dragon's Breath off these two. I think that's my line. No, but I can now discard these. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, for haste. I leave the second one in there, though. Play land. Go to combat. Swing 11. My opponent absorbs some of that. And this is going to be incredibly tight. Alright, just their troll is coming in. So I can exhume a Gurmag Angler and give it haste. And that's probably okay. I think I can Thrill of Possibility first. Just see what we get. So if I attack with 2 Gurmag Anglers and a Troll, my opponent blocks both Gurmag Anglers, and I die. I'm at exactly 6. I need to instead produce another body. No. No. We got this. So I Swamp Cycle, get Swamp, cast Exhume, exhume the Troll that I just put in, give it haste with Dragon Breath. Oh, neat. This triggers on my opponent's creatures. So I will do this yes on the one for my creature. I guess I'm dead no matter what on the backswing. I can never block, so in we go. Here's, I guess, to hoping no instant speed life gain. I think it's not enough, right? Like it's 2 per creature card in graveyard, and they'd only gain 4 going to 12 and then are exactly dead. My opponent said, lol, incredible, and has conceded. Alright, so obviously I want these spell bombs. They're going to be very good. Breath Weapon could keep bodies out of play for things like Dread Return. That's not crazy. Feed the Clan is not crazy. I'm pretty mid on Duress. It matters a lot sometimes. That gets rid of some blockers. I'm trying to think if I want more. Like, some of my stuff has Trample and Evasion, and some of it doesn't. It's definitely scary being an Exhume deck against another graveyard-oriented deck. I'm going to say no on this one. I think playing an Ash Barrens to land cycle for one of my 3 colors. Oh, yeah. So, you remember how I was talking about, like, Gnaw to the Bone, putting them to 12? They said that they punted because they needed to gnaw to the bone before reanimating their troll to play around the exact line that ended up happening. Right, my opponent kept their 7. This is a pretty mediocre hand that I think I'm going to keep. Spellbomb is good. I have a couple of different creatures here. I'm not unhappy with this. I think I will go ahead and lead on looting. Probably discarding these 2. Maybe those 2. Maybe those 2. They have a troll. So if I exhume, it comes at a cost. Let's do this and just put the Spellbomb into play now. When it's on 3 mana. And we'll start doing some mill nonsense. There's good value in that graveyard now. It's nothing scary yet, but it's good value. I might just clear this out now in an attempt to get deeper in my deck. Like, there's scarier things later, but my mana situation is currently kind of awkward. This helps. Let's just grab untapped Black Source and play a new Spellbomb out. That's fine. Which one is that? Okay, the Growl one. So the Death Touch here is kind of annoying for the purposes of just like doing hasty Gurmag Angler shenanigans. That's a Crusher. Don't think we're going to reach the point of just hard casting that. I could be wrong. Who knows? Am I taking 5 damage here? Like, am I okay with just Gurmag Angler go? I think so. That would be what? That would just be leaving Dragon Breath in there to come back. I guess that's fine. It's not good, but I guess it's fine. Alright. No haste for me, and I don't have the mana available to do this. I think my opponent's Rotting Reunions are better than my Spell Bombs. I'm probably fine with doing that. Let's just cycle this. Yeah. You're not dragons. I'll send in for 5. Not interested in clearing out with Spell Bomb unless it draws me a card. So many good jump blockers. Alright, my opponent gets a Swamp. There's another Rotten Reunion in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Are we fine with just Hootie with haste? I think so. Yeah. This is annoying. Maybe I don't Hootie with haste. Maybe I have to hold up Spell Bomb so my opponent doesn't gain a whole bunch of life. That's fine. And then at end of turn, when my opponent casts something, I just Spell Bomb them. Yeah, I can't give them 10 life here. So I waste 3 of their mana. Clear their graveyard. I draw a new Spell Bomb out of it, which is lucky because that's my last Spell Bomb. I feel like I got really rewarded for playing around that. But that graveyard is just going to come back. There's some blockers. Yep. Another Dragon Breath would be cool. Ransack the lab. That's a fine starting point. Put the Angler into hand. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I would like to attack with this Gurmag Angler this turn. Which probably means doing this. Discard you. And you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sacrifice this for the haste. I don't get to play my Spell Bomb this turn. And hopefully that's okay. There's a decent number of squirrels that can come back. But I take a few bodies out of play, and then I get to cleanse the graveyard next turn. Creature count in graveyard is very low. Yeah, so if something like this happens, it's not actually all that bad. Do I get cheeky and also attack with Hooting Mandrills, representing Breath Weapon? I don't think so. Let's just send these in, hoping for a block trade, and then I Spell Bomb these out of the way. Nice. Then I play Spell Bomb, crack Spell Bomb, draw the card, exile the yard. 4, 5, 6, 7. 14 power in play. Opponent is at 15 life. Honestly, we've gotten pretty lucky with the placement of my Spell Bombs as draws, like throughout my deck. Like all 3 Spell Bombs in the first half of my deck was very lucky. All right, and we get there. I was horrified of this matchup. GG's. Okay. My hand doesn't really do anything. I'm gonna go ahead and mulligan. This has no mana. We are on 5. It's awkward. I probably don't go to 4. I imagine that this goes back. I think this goes back. It could be that Ash Barrens goes back. Let's try that, actually. This lets me try to keep something that reanimates a troll and then plays this as the follow-up. Yeah. Oh shit, it's Exhume. You and you. And then on my Mold of 5, I just have turn 2 Hasty Troll of Khazad-dum. That is surprisingly strong. But it looks like this is going to be... Oh, this might be Affinity instead. So... Yeah. Yeah. Send it. So the lifelink on this is only if they're a vampire. So I don't care about that. Oh no, maybe I'm wrong. It is the same sort of thing. I just didn't see Wedding Invitation last time around. Well, hopefully I just run over my opponent. Brings them to 8. Fuck, I could have Fire Breathed. I guess I always kill next turn. This lets me play this land. But I missed 1 to 2 points of damage here. Hopefully that's not relevant. Okay, I imagine that my opponent is dead. I guess they could play the Kuldotha Rebirth and block and stay alive another turn. So I know that I want Breath Weapon. I think I went my Duresses out previously. And I think I filled with Feed the Clan. My opponent sideboarded very quickly. I don't have a creature yet. And my mana's a little awkward. I think I just keep anyway. Never didn't have it. So, I think I looting now because the upside is so high. And I can flash it back later if things don't work out. Am I fine exhuming a Hooting Mandrills? I am always discarding Dragon Breath. I'd really rather cast this, but I think I am going to put it in Graveyard. That at least gives me the option next turn. And I might not even take that option. Let's scry. Ash Barrens can go to bottom. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do for the remainder of this turn. Like, I can play Bitter Reunion and try to go deeper into my deck. I think I am just going to basic land cycle here. And get my swamp and call that a turn. Oh, that's an all that glitters. All of a sudden, I am under the clock. My opponent gets kind of the first attack here. Do I even win if I reanimate Hooting Mandrills? So, like, I reanimated, I attack for 5 this turn. My opponent's at 15. They have the next attack. I guess I can feed the clan for 10 life. I guess this is a thanks I hate it situation. We'll Fire Breathe and hit for 5. The lands here are scaling this up a lot. My opponent might kill me before I kill them. So I can... No, this costs me a mana to make a mana. Awkward. Alright. Y'all. I can Fire Breathe once. This is an instant. I'll just hold it up for my opponent's turn. Yep. This is 10 life. I'm probably just dead to this next turn, and I can't block. They are scaling this down, though. I can pump this up to 3 times. I don't know that that's winning the game. I kind of want to Faithless Looting off of these 3 mana sources, and then try to hit an Exhume, and get back Ulamog's Crusher. It's a little bit of a long shot, but it's so much pressure if it works. Yeah. I miss out on 1 or 2 points of damage this turn for attempting that. And I am probably just dead, right? I guess deterministically dead, right? Like, I know my opponent has an artifact. Oof. Alright. You've got it. So how many copies of this are there? Like, are there enough that I do this? Unsure. I am unsure if this is a distinct archetype from what my opponent was playing last round, and I just didn't see all that glitters. I could duress again, now that I know about that. Again, though, if my opponent is just going to go down this, like, Glint Hawk value train, maybe that's not great. I think I'm going to try to just get my opponent dead before it matters. I have Exhume. I do not have a way to put a creature into graveyard. Do I mulligan? I have no redraws here. I think I do. This is a little slow. I think it's fine. I'm going to junk this. Gets me an unblockable 7/7 on turn 3. Yes. I'm going to land cycle. I probably care about red more than green. Alright. Land pass. 1 point of damage is whatever. That's fine. Cycle this. Wish I could get you into graveyard. But I can't. That's fine. 7/7, pseudo unblockable. Let's see what sort of value you can come up with. Yeah, Glint Hawk Synthesizer, obviously very strong. I can send that bolt at my face. And I guess I'm just fire breathing here, right? So like, I just Dragon Breath, pump twice, hit for 9 this turn. Opponent's at 11. I have 10 next turn. I have 11 if I draw another red source. Ooh, shit. So Glint Hawk can now block. Opponent is just going to put me to the test, though. That is not an untapped red source, so I am 1 point of damage short of killing my opponent. 7, 8, 9, 10, because this does not produce red and this enters tapped. So because of that, I need to cycle this. That does not give me any outs. Damn, what a fast game. GG's. All right. Do I keep or am I mulling to Exhume? I have 3 looks at an Exhume, plus a Thrill of Possibility. I think this is probably fine. Like, this has 2 different cards that look at extra cards. Just every round. Just every round is this, huh? Okay. I think I'm going to thrill away Greater Sandwurm at my opponent's end step. The 1 damage from this is not that bad. Oh, this might be a slightly different deck. Yeah, this one feels slightly different. Prismatic Strands is maybe a little annoying. These are mediocre cards. Alright, ransack the lab. Need you to do some work for me. Find me an Exhume, buddy. Fuck. Alright. Well, I have not found an Exhume or a Delph creature yet. Oh no. That is a lot of land. Now I have haste and trample theoretically queued up, but I could take a lot of damage here. Alright, only 4. Only 4. Lunarch Veteran and Core Skyfisher. Okay, so this is a slightly different build. This looks like a mono-white aggro build. I assume that all that glitter stuff is still going on over there. Alright. I think we're going to play this first. Just convert a land. Yikes. I think I am purely on the defensive here. We'll decrease the amount of stuff in my graveyard, get the ETB tapped land out of play. I think I'm gonna save the Dragon Fangs. Just play this tapped. Yeah, hands with and without Exhume are just totally different. I've looked at a lot of cards. Like, it's turn 4 and I'm 19 cards deep. Like, I am 7 cards deeper than my opponent. Does that mean I was supposed to mulligan again? I don't know. I feel like we drew below average after the starting hand, though. There's a lot of mana here. Now all these little guys give my opponent some life, which is scary. Oh? I mean, show me your trick. Like, are you just going to do this? Oh, that's fine. That pushed 1 point of damage. That doesn't feel like it was worth it. We're going to continue to do the Thraben Inspector dance. Troll? I'm 1 turn away from casting this. Let's flashback Faithless Looting. I'd like to find it in Exhume. No. Get rid of this. Get rid of some land. Play some land. Am I just casting that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess I am just casting this into this and dying to flyers. This incidental life gain probably makes it so that I can't just hunker down on the ground. It may make it so that I have to just cycle this. Like, I might need to cycle and use Bitter Reunion to get haste. I'll take this block. I'm still taking 6. Oh, fuck. Dead? Feels like dead. Very dead. So I guess 3 copies of Breath Weapon are coming in. And I just kind of do what I've done in these other similar matches. Breath Weapon and feed the clan in for Duress out. Ash Barrens is kind of awkward here as my only land. I think I have to mulligan this one. I have the Exhume with no lands now. The 5 is probably reasonable. 1, 2, 3, probably 4, 5. Actually, maybe on this few cards, maybe Ransack the Lab X2 is just better than Faithless Looting. And then I can play the ETB tapped land on turn 1. I like that. I am, however, not super optimistic about my chances. And if I don't curve into Breath Weapon, it's possible that it gets disrupted by Prismatic Strands. Eagles of the North. That's actually, like, not bad here, right? Because, like, you are playing a bunch of creatures. You might actually want to cast a portion of that. One of them goes into my hand. It's gonna be the land right now. I wish it was an untapped land. Like, I wish desperately it was an untapped land, but hopefully things are fine. Inspector. Remember what I said about wishing I had an untapped land? Can I even do this? I think I do this. It may be really important to Breath Weapon next turn, and having my Breath Weapon not be countered by this kind of matters. My position is not great, though. Oh, that's a pile of dudes. My plan now shifts to flashback Faithless Looting. And then I can discard some of this stuff. There's an Exhume. I have an Ulamog's Crusher in there already. This potentially is going to swing very quickly. I suppose my opponent could have some Graveyard Hate. What the hell is 4 mana? Battle Screech. So my opponent will Battle Screech and then tap creatures to flash it back. And I can get a relatively large Breath Weapon blowout. Although it's unclear to me whether or not that's better than just guaranteeing that I can put Ulamog's Crusher into play. It's just fully about whether or not my opponent has Prismatic Strands. I think I take the guaranteed Crusher. It's Crusher with haste and vigilance. My opponent can, I guess, have Eagles of the North back. Wait. Hold on, how big is this? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, it's fine. I get a bigger booty because of Dragon Scales. That one's Eagles of the North. Yeah, I got scared that I had punted that one for a minute. I guess I tapped this wrong. I could have Fire Breathed for 1 more. I was thinking about Hooting Mandrills, and I left up green mana, but that was just wrong. I'm damn near dead to the Eagles of the North. Like, I'll die if my opponent has that one Anthem card. Neat. Oh, no. The Hawk's fine. Breath Weapon takes care of a lot of this stuff. Like, I can Breath Weapon and then Hooting Mandrills. They take a lot. So this kills everything except that. And I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fire breathing feels more important. I attack for 4, and then I attempt to attack for lethal. Oh, this is gonna be tight, though. Oh, gross. Not strictly speaking dead to that, but it's pretty bad. My opponent held back their Eagles of the North. I have no things that are castable in a profitable way. So I guess the thing keeping me alive is my opponent living in fear. I'm probably just dead no matter what next turn, though. Sure. Oh, that's a lot of dudes. Yeah, and the life gain triggers associated with them is also rough. And I am just very dead in the air. GG's. So this is a 2-3 league in paper, but this is really a 1-3 because our first opponent just conceded. All right, so how do we feel about this one at the end of the league here? Not great, honestly. Like, this card is just not replaceable. And so you either need to mull aggressively towards it or keep hands hoping to find it. I don't feel like the delve hands are particularly strong. And we even lost games where we made Ulamog's Crusher on turn 2 because it just wasn't good enough. I think relative to the graveyard-based deck I played last week that had like Dread Returns and the ability to grind, I'd much rather be playing like the Lotless Giant deck than this. This deck has the upside of being able to do some really busted stuff, but card selection in Pauper isn't that great. And without something that replicates this, I just don't think this is good enough. Maybe you can just shove 4 Dread Returns in this deck as a 4-mana reanimate spell that helps you get these other creatures out of the graveyard. And like maybe you can get rid of like Dragon Scales, Dragon Fangs, and 2 Duress to do that. Duress has felt really bad in this league when I was playing against these creature-centric value decks where taking 1 card out of their hand doesn't really matter because like they just have so much card advantage that sits on board. So I was unhappy with Duress as well. So I think this one gets a thumbs down from me. Maybe I can approach some things a little bit differently. You know, maybe I can mess around with Tranquility or something like that. And then like that plays around Journey to Nowhere or something like that. Maybe I have a little bit of agency such as that I missed because I don't have great format knowledge. But ultimately, I don't know that I would super recommend something that looks like this for a competitive event. So yeah, folks, I think that's all I've got. If you have any thoughts about this one, feel free to throw them down in the comments below, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. See ya!